Christopher Clark writes, "Hey Collider crew, I was looking at the box office results for Avatar and was surprised to see a weekend opening of 77 million. I was even more surprised to see the second weekend total of 75.6 million, a decrease of only 1.8%. How did Avatar achieve such a crazy low drop in gross? And did anyone see that coming?"
This is the single most remarkable thing about Avatar, and what a lightning in a bottle, once in a generation kind of thing it is. When we talk about a movie going from week 1 to week 2, now remember, this isn't a situation where, a movie opened in limited release and then the following week it opened nationwide, and then so the box. No. Avatar opened nationwide on December, I want to say 8th, but I can't remember exactly. Anyway, Avatar opened nationwide. We always say on here, it's really good if your film, it's a really good sign for your movie if you go from week 1 to week 2 with less than a 50% drop. If you get like a 48% drop or something like that, that is considered, hey, that's really good. And if you get like a 70% drop, that's really bad. 1.8%. Get this. I did some more digging in the analytics. Between week 1 and week 4, okay? Week 4, it only dropped 30% from week 1 to week 4. That is less than any other movie drops from week 1 to week 2. And the other remarkable thing about that number that a lot of people are surprised at first is that people think, well, Avatar, biggest movie of all time, clearly it made like $190 million opening weekend. No, it made like $77 million opening weekend. But then it kept going. And kept going and kept going. And like I said, it is one of those once in a generation types of things. I honestly do not know. This is one of those things you always say, okay, that's a good record eventually. I don't know that we will ever see another movie again that opens wide in week 1 and has less than 2% drop to week 2, especially in today's movie going on, where the biggest movie fans, they all want to rush out and see it week 1. We all go. Right. And so then you see a big drop week 2. 40% drop, that's awesome. I don't know that we will ever see that happen again. But I don't know, Schnepp, you look at these numbers. What stands out to you?
This stands out. I mean, it's literally, it is like, it's a beacon, like all the other films. Like, I mean, we were just talking about Mission Impossible 5, and that dropped 31% in its third week. Yeah. And that was where we were like, hey, that just jumped back up to number 2. In the we have like 3 new movies coming out, but then a movie from 3 weeks ago is in the
drop 30% from week 2 to week 3, not from week 1 to week 3. Yeah,
but that's still that's
still really respectable.
It's really great, but this is insane, and it really comes out to word of mouth with Avatar, because I remember I'm one of those people who saw it the second weekend. I didn't see it the opening weekend, and then everyone was like, it's incredible, you've got to see it. The 3D is fantastic. And I was going to see it anyway, but then it just forced me to I got to get a ticket immediately and see this. So I think word of mouth just built on Avatar from all the people chiming in about it's going to be a failure, just like Titanic. James Cameron, I mean, a lot of people want to see this guy go down for some reason. I mean, all of his films are always like, this one's going to really suck. And then it's like, it just blew the doors off every box office number you've ever seen. Oh, here's another one, So I don't know. I think I don't know if Avatar 2, whenever that comes out, will have this kind of drop off or not. That's kind of an interesting thing.
Is it fair to say, though, Christian, that one of the things that helped that 1.8% drop was the fact that it only made $77 million opening weekend? Like, if Avatar had made $150 million opening weekend, would we have seen just a week 2 drop off of like 1.8%?
No, absolutely not. There would have been a way bigger drop off if it was that big of a opening. And also remember that this is one of the conversations that we've had about Star Wars many times, is that coming in December, there's never been a movie to crack 100 million in December. Now I think that'll change this December, but that's still, it's hard because you forget about weather and all those type of things that happen in the holiday season,
Christmas time,
all that. There's a reason why a lot of movies don't open in that time. However, the reason why I think that it did well, you're absolutely right with 3D, because now we're so beaten over the head with it. We're like, oh, another 3D movie. Right. Not only was it one of those movies that brought back 3D, it did bring it back. It was done well and shot for 3D, and it was an experience. And I actually still like Avatar very much. I know it's become kind of cool to hate on it now, and people don't like it in general. And it doesn't transfer as well as it did on the screen as it does, on TV as it does on the big screen. Because when you There's
on
nothing
the
like
big
that.
screen. It's crazy.
It was like
amazing.
going. It was
even
like
in
going,
non 3D. It is a
man, it's
visual.
It's beautiful. It's like going to. It was like going on a Universal city ride or something. Like
Yeah.
too. You were there. You were in it. You were those when the glasses. My wife, who hates 3D, had those glasses and enjoyed it because it was a matter of you felt like you were there when you were falling down. It was crazy. It was almost like virtual reality.
They're riding on those dragons or whatever those weird bird creatures are.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's what people were telling you when you get out of the theaters. Like, you got to see it. It's not only a movie and the story is, it's Pocahontas or whatever, or Ferngully.
Dances with Wolves.
Whatever. But it's seeing it in that big theater, and I think that's why the drop off for the second week was so small, because people had never seen anything like that. It was very similar.
And they went and told all their friends, you
Told
got to come
everyone.
back and see it with me next weekend.
Think about what
Right,
happened
no,
when
that's
Star
true.
Wars came out in '77. They had never seen a movie like that. There had never been a movie like that to do what they did with special effects. And Avatar was groundbreaking as far as 3D and special effects. So it was that same kind of conversation. Go and see it. You got to see it. Even if they want to go, oh, it stinks, but you can't deny it. Even if you saw it in the theater. Even if you hate the movie, were you not blown away visually by the way that movie?
It is an entertaining
And it's almost
movie.
3 hours long. That's another
Right.
thing.
It's
That's
crazy
another
long.
thing.
Now, I was one of these guys, like, I said it had no business, and it didn't win. I said it had no business winning Best Picture that year. But I was totally on board with it being nominated for Best Picture. And it was very well cast. That's one of the things that people don't talk a lot about Avatar, and that's understandable because of the visual spectacle that it is. It was very well cast. All the people, they didn't go out and get the best actors in the world. They got great people who fit those roles and fit them really, really well. Stephen Lang was a revelation
Oh,
in
yeah.
that, too. I'm super stoked that he's coming back.
He should play Cable.
He should play Cable. He's the only guy I can
Yeah.
possibly think of
He
that would be
looks
a
like
great
Cable.
fit for Cable. But honestly, well, let me ask you guys on a scale of percentages, and let me draw the line at 40%. Okay, 40% Schnepp. Over or under 40%, the chances that we will ever see a wide release movie drop by less than 2% from week 1 to week 2.
Wow. Well, 2%'s rough. I mean, because basically what you guys just said, I mean, when you said you got to come back and see it with me, that is that repeat business that didn't really happen again. Well, it first started with Star Wars, because as a little kid, that's the first movie that I had to beg my parents to see a third time. They didn't understand. You've seen it already in summer camp, and your sister took you to go see it. Why do you need to see it again? You don't understand. Like crying. I have to see it. You have to see it with me. I was trying to convert my parents to the dark side. I was like, you have to come with me. And they came with me, and they loved it, and liked it or whatever. But that's that you cannot even describe it really when something changes your life in such a strong and powerful way. And I think Avatar, we're older now, but I think Avatar had that life-changing experience for people, especially for people now who care about climate change and youngsters who want to do something. You youngsters want to do something.
It's like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, really. Well, I don't know.
Well, not now.
Yeah.
Not now.
Not now.
Hulk Hogan
Yeah,
in the 80s.
Yes. Like, come on, let's get on something. So it's like, I think, will something like that happen again? I could see that with Force Awakens. I mean, because forgetting about the prequels and that stain that, like, especially people who lived through the first Star Wars, to see those horrible prequels, like, kind of ruined it for me, at least. It ruined it. But I'm really excited for the ruination to end with this brand new series. And something about bringing back that old cast and now them being the age that they're supposed to be, there's something magical about it.
Did he answer over or under yet? I don't think he did.
I didn't.
Percentage-wise.
I think Star Wars is the one that has the chance to do, but I can't.
But
say
over under 40% chance.
I don't think it could do the 2%.
All right, I'm gonna go 0%.
Yeah.
It's 0%, and not even Star Wars.
You're saying
can even-
ever?
I'm just gonna say ever. I don't think it'll ever happen again, because there's that magical mix of it's super amazing, but not a lot of people went to see it the first weekend, and then but it was so good everybody went back again and again. Star Wars, no chance in hell. Why? Because so many people are gonna go see it opening week. It will be the first film in history to make over $84 million in December in its opening weekend, and it's probably going to be closer to like $150 million opening weekend. It's going to destroy that record, but because that many people are going to go see it, no chance in hell it's going to make like 140 in its second week. It's just not going to happen.
If we were talking about 10, 15 years, I would agree as far as, I don't know. I can never just go 0 just because you never know if there's ever going to be another Avatar. I mean, someone makes it.
Watch We Are Your Friends does it.
You're
We
right.
Are Your Friends does
Also,
it, and I'm
it's
eating my
tough.
words next week.
But what about a film just like it only made, it was released in 5 theaters and it made $3 million, and
then
the
they
next
wide
one
It's not
release
wide
it.
release. Oh, what was
Okay,
I saying?
right.
Wide release film. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say there's a 10% chance only because
So you'll go under 40.
yeah, I'll go under 40. I don't think that Star Wars will do it for the exact reason what you said is that it's going to open up so big and then it's going to have a small drop off. I think it's going to have a small drop, but not.
Yeah, I think like 39%
Yeah,
drop
30,
off, which
40%.
is remarkable, like this day and
Yeah.
age.